The dogs and I are sitting in line waiting for the ferry to take us across to Whidbey Island. We're going to drive past Coopville on Whidbey Island and go for the Ebey's Landing hike. Should be rich in scenery and history. Despite the kind of misty gray day that we're having, it's not too bad. It's not even actively raining right now.
For security reasons, we ask that passengers not leave any backpacks, luggage, packages, or any personal belongings unattended during this crossing. Upon arrival at our final destination, all passengers...
I am at the trailhead for Ebey's Landing. There are a couple places you can start this trail. One is the Prairie Overlook, which is where we are. It's a little bit rainy, but not too bad. And the Prairie Overlook is right across the dirt road from the Sunnyside Cemetery. We're just wandering down here to look at these informational signs. So this big valley formed when melting glaciers formed a temporary lake. And we are standing in the middle of the nation's first historical reserve. Because I think they were going to develop this, and they decided to keep it. All right, these two are really impatient after a long ferry ride and a long drive. They want to get going, so off we go. So we're going to start here, go across the prairie, along the top of the bluff, along the beach on the way back, and this is the other place you can park, Ebey's Landing State Park, if you want a shorter hike, and then we'll retrace our steps through the prairie. This talks about past farming as well as current farming.
Whidbey Island was originally the home to several Coast Salish tribes, mostly the Skagit on Whidbey Island itself, but also the Snohomish and the Kikialis people, later the Clallam. The plank home here and the fortified block home next to it belonged to Jacob and Sarah Ebey. They called their homestead Sunnyside. You might recognize that from the name of the cemetery. They moved here from Missouri after their son, Isaac Ebey, who is one of the first white people to live on Whidbey Island, had written home so excitedly about how wonderful the island was. So they moved here to join him.
So Jacob and Sarah Ebey worried about conflicts with local tribes, but mostly the reason they built these fortified block houses were because they were worried about northern indigenous people from Alaska and British Columbia, built in 1856.
As it turns out, in 1857, natives from the north came down to kill a white chief in retaliation for one of their northern chiefs being killed the year before. They were actually looking for someone else, but they were unable to find him, so they knocked on Isaac Ebey's door, and when he answered, they killed him instead. These may have been Haida, but I'm not sure that that is very clear.
So I think there's a higher loop on this trail. I remember from seeing on the map, but I am not going to go off through this field. Instead, I am going to go on this more well-worn trail right here. And we'll be coming back on this one as well. Nice bench so you can sit and look out over the valley. It is pretty blustery and cold today, and the rain is actually picking up. So I've got a half mile to get to the Bluff Trail junction. So that other trail is called the Pratt Loop, which I'm not taking. I'm just heading straight for that Bluff Trail. And I just love this view. I love the view of the Puget Sound here. It's so gorgeous, even on a rainy day. Anybody want to jump up on that rock? Want to jump up there? Woo, good girl, Luna. She's a mountain climber. Good girl. Rhoda's shorter. All right, come on. Now we're leaving State Park's property and entering the Robert Y. Pratt Preserve. Wow. not too close, guys. Now we'll be walking along the bluff trail. Man, it's beautiful out here. And this is high tide. I don't think that there's a time where the beach completely disappears, but always worth checking what the tide's doing, especially if it's stormy, because then you get the storm surge as well. We are going up this hill. Windswept trees. Here's a couple seagulls. This isn't a really hard hike, and it's so worth it. It's just beautiful. I mean, you just really never want this view to end. And there's a little lagoon there. Grape growing along here. See how far up we are by looking at the tiny, tiny people down there on the beach. And that's where we'll be pretty soon. Kind of neat to look into this forest too. You get so distracted with the other view that you forget to look both ways. And in fact, I just ran into people that said I missed a mature bald eagle that was sitting in a tree quietly. I only saw the one that flew over that was an immature. We're 1.92 miles in, still going along the bluff, and we're still above the lagoon, but that is coming to an end. I think that is where this trail will drop down and join the beach. See a little bit of the Olympics over there underneath the clouds. A lot of ships out today. We're almost to the end of the bluff trail, I think. Yep, you can see where it switchbacks because there's people down there and over there. So we are almost to that part of the trail, giving up our bluff view for a beach walk. So we're going to meander 0.3 miles down to the beach. And here's what happens when people take those shortcuts. They just erode like hell. That can cause issues with the trail that it runs into as well, because the water's just going to run straight down where somebody made that shortcut, hit the regular trail, and then just erode the heck out of it. It's a real shame. long ways above the beach. There's some big waves for the sound. Area closed for restoration. Let's look at this area. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go down there anyway. Look at that. It's like a sand chute. We're turning this way, going towards the lagoon. Now we're gonna be walking into the wind, so we'll get the rain in our face, but at least my hair will quit getting in my mouth. Okay, 2.43 in, and this is where we come out on the beach, starting from the prairie overlook. And the waves are gorgeous today. Wow, look at this. I thought it was a net, but it's actually like a black chain link fence kind of deal. All twisted and mangled up here on the beach. I can't pack that out. That's just Frodo for scale. Wow. I hope nothing gets stuck in there. Limpet shell right there. Sun is actually shining. Beautiful. I just popped up on the driftwood to show you the lagoon from this side. Quite often there's shorebirds over here. I see something in the water out there, but it's a bit far. And there's actually a trail, like a dirt trail here, if the sand is difficult to walk on, or if the waves and tide are too high. But I find that it's sometimes got a lot of driftwood on it as well, and I really love being on the beach. So we're going back to the beach. As you're walking on the beach, it's hard not to get mesmerized by the rocks. There's every different color and type and pattern, and these are all worn smooth by erosion and wave action. Let's see if we can find all the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, another nice green one. Well, all the rocks are kind of a blue-gray. They take on a blue appearance out here. Not so many blue ones, but these are close. Is this a brown or kind of a purpley with the spots? Maybe it's purple? Kind of pink, but I think this one counts as purple. Woo! There's a bonus pink speckled stone and a stone with a ring around it. A cool piece of driftwood up here. It looks like a creature with horns kind of rearing up by the sea. We've come 3.84 miles and we are nearing Ebey's Landing, I think. I keep thinking that, but it keeps staying far away. I've seen loons and buffleheads, and it's just been a really beautiful walk despite the off and on rain. All right, I think I see my trail going up those stairs, so I won't be going all the way to the parking lot. The dogs are glad to be off of the sand. Sign has seen better days, but it's talking about what we can see across the way. It's a little hard to see today in the clouds, but Port Townsend's over there, like right there. Can't really make a whole lot out. Here we go up the stairs, back up into the meadows. A lot of wild roses here. More stairs. Okay, we're gonna just follow this low ridge along till we get to where we turned off to go up the hill onto that part of the bluff, and then head back for the car. And it's starting to rain a little more, so I might not film much. I'll just bring this out if I see something of interest. Well, here we are. We've closed the loop. We're at 4.56 miles here. And we're about to head back on this little ridge trail. I just noticed this. You can see where the bluff is, and I'm just heading back to the car, and it says this is the northwesterly boundary of Colonel Isaac Neff Ebey. Donation land claim October 15, 1850. We're back to the beautiful prairie overlook. Oh, and I see some swans down there in the valley. You can make that out, those white spots out there. What a great hike. That was a beautiful, although rainy hike. It could have been much worse, and the views were just so pretty, and it was so peaceful. We did 5.43 miles round trip with 464 feet of elevation gain. Pretty much just in a couple sections that the elevation happens. It's like going up the first part of the bluff trail, and then at the end coming back up to meet where you got on the bluff trail. Anyway, the dogs are tired. It's hard to tire them out. I'm a little tired, so I'm just gonna head back to the ferry and on my way home and see what the rest of the day brings. Thank you so much for joining me on these adventures. I am so excited to have you along. Every person that watches these, comments, likes, subscribes, I appreciate you so much. It's actually harder work than I imagined, doing all of the editing and filming and trying to keep this coming out regularly, but I love challenges, and I'm really learning a lot along the way, and at least virtually meeting some amazing people, and hopefully we'll run into some of you on the trail someday.